We are here because we are dedicated to helping the entire CrossFit community. Determined to elevate coaches, box owners, athletes, and everything in between, we believe that this mission will begin right here, right now. While this time and this goal begins with you, our hope is that you take this fire ignited within you and weave it into your own life with the same unrelenting passion to give those you have the privilege of coming in contact with the best hour of their day.
All right, this is a big deal. It's our first ever guest coming all the way from Ireland. Welcome, Sam Bradford, owner of CrossFit Moira, to the podcast.
Hi, I feel like I'm a lucky fan that's won a lucky dip to get on.
I just want to preface this episode with some of you are not going to understand everything Sam says. I still struggle to understand. It's not only the Irish accent, he's also typically drunk when we work together on our affiliate youth calls. You know, but it's
YouTube
not,
does the YouTube have subtitles?
The YouTube, yeah, we'll get Katie to put some subtitles in there. But at the same time, you know, we typically wind up talking super late at night because of the time difference. So, you know, we're talking about it's not 10 o'clock at night your time. So hopefully you're a little more, we can understand you a little bit better today.
I'm on the water tonight.
Yeah, just water for now. It's still early. You got to come.
No beer did a wet.
You joined in on Affiliate University. You like you said, you listened to every episode of the podcast, which is really humbling, and we are super appreciative that it's something you enjoy, and not only you enjoy it, but pass it on to your coaching staff. But you actually popped in with us in Affiliate University during the pandemic, during the closure. What made you make that decision? For so many people, it was like, man, we're closed. I don't want to spend money. I'm worried about what's going to happen. But you were like, no, I'm going to dig in.
Yeah, well, I think it was just a really good time that I could work on the business side. I'm sure like a lot of affiliate owners, they don't open a box to necessarily run a business, but to coach. And I mean, we've got a pretty cool community. At our place, great bunch of guys and girls, and it was sort of, we were starting to grow, we're getting big, bigger, and it was like, oh, how can I make this better? We're starting to get a lot more new members, and I was struggling to give every new member the same intro, the same experience coming through. So it was like, right, well, how do I improve the back end stuff? How do I make everything more streamlined, that I'm nearly making less work for myself if I put the work in now, because I knew it was going to blow up. When the UK came out of the first lockdown, it just went nuts. It was great, but I was busy. So I was anticipating something similar the second time round. So I wanted to jump in when I knew we would have 6-7 weeks. It turned out to be 12-13 weeks of lockdown, but it was just a good time. It was a time that I could spend when I wasn't coaching, working on the business from the inside.
I remember hopping on that call with you, and I remember talking to you about it and saying, you know, as terrible as the scenario and situation was with closures, both, you know, in the States and abroad, a lot of box owners were making the mistake of not taking it as an opportunity to develop the systems and protocols. And, you know, I know Fern was going through so many things at CrossFit Rife, the waivers, the organization, even painting, like, yes, we're closed, but what can I be doing now that I've been putting off for months, if not years, that I never get this opportunity to do? And like you said, once you reopened, and you just reopened last month, you knew it was going to explode. What was that like? How big of an explosion was it?
So we have taken, reopened on April 30th it's the 8th or 9th as we speak. And we have taken on 40 new members. So yeah, it's been pretty busy. We're pretty much at capacity now.
40. 40?
40. Yeah.
You have 40 new members in the last month, which
Yeah.
that alone, sometimes growth and too much growth too quickly can be a problem as well. So
yeah,
has that been stressful for you? And let's give a shout out to your staff. You got Phil, right, who's always wasted on our calls. You got
super fun.
You got Jamie, who outkicked his coverage with his marriage, right? He's married to a wife he should not be married to. And then you got Jason, correct?
Yeah.
And what's Jason's fiance's name?
Leah. They're not fiance, but it's going to happen soon. It's going to happen.
It's going to happen soon. And when it does,
you've just put
out there.
You've just put the pressure on him.
Hey,
yeah, Leah.
Hold out as long as you can, Jason. Take it from me.
Yeah.
But 40 new members, do you find that that's taxing the coaching staff, or are they handling it okay?
Yeah, they're excited by it. All those guys, they're all part-time. They all have their own careers. And they all came through as members over the last, maybe since we opened. Most of them have been there since we opened, and they know the guys, they know our community, they know our members, they know everything we're about. And they just loved it, so that they took their L1s, and they part time, and so they're excited to be back coaching again after 4 months, and they're loving the challenge of just the range of from like the super beginner to some of the maybe more experienced new members coming in. So it's testing us all, how to sort of coach these guys and give them the best experience, in their early sessions over their first month.
You've had really great buy-in from your coaching staff, and a lot of the box owners that we work with do have that. But I feel like you especially, your coaches are on every single call with me. It's often 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. They've wrapped up a very busy day of coaching, and they're engaged. I mean, they're doing the videos that we require. They're giving each other feedback. What do you think has been the cause of that success for you? It's not easy to get that buy-in from part-time coaches, but man, you've got it.
I think partially because it's not, they're not financially driven by it. As I said, they've all got their own careers, and they do it because they love the coaching, they love the gym. That's what's for them. A lot of the place was, where they really started taking their own health and fitness seriously as well. So it means a lot to them, and I think to be a part of that and pass on their knowledge that they've got over the last number of years. So I think it's quite easy to keep them guys motivated, because they love it, and they love the community, and they love working with the guys that they're so keen to learn. It's quite nice. We've got quite a they're very honest in terms of wanting feedback and wanting to improve, and we can all speak very openly to each other. Like, although I'm the owner, I'm always asking them, if you see me do something that I shouldn't be doing when I'm coaching, tell me. It's the only way. Getting feedback is the only way we're going to improve. So constantly getting that and taking it in the right manner is, I think, they're just so responsive to the feedback and what the wanting to learn as well. I think it makes it quite easy, and why they enjoy it so much.
Yeah, I mean, they're so receptive to feedback. I mean, and I know we goof around because it's a fun group, but I think something you've touched upon that box owners need to hear is you're not above the feedback, not just for me. You look at your movement and your coaching throughout our calls as well, but asking for that feedback from your coaching staff too elevates them. They not only realize, hey, I've got to be a better coach because Sam's going to give me feedback, but now when I watch Sam or I take class, I need to have my coach's eyes on all the time to say what I like and what I don't like. Have you ever gotten feedback from one of them that you were like glad they gave you the feedback, but at the same time mad they gave you the feedback?
Yeah, I'd be quite strict. They're trying to keep people keep their heels on the floor, and they'll call me out if my heels leave the floor before I hit hip extension. They'll call me out in front of the class, and but it's fun. It's it makes me not do it, so it comes down to demonstration. Again, so it's good. I get called out once or twice. I stopped doing it. So yeah.
It keeps you on your toes. It keeps you on your toes.
Literally.
Let me go back in time a moment. So you're in Ireland. How did you find out about Best Hour of Their Day? How'd you hear about us?
I'm not sure actually. I was flicking through some podcasts. I think I put CrossFit into the Spotify, and you guys came up, and it was just, it kind of rung a bell a little bit because it was one focused towards coaches and owners, and obviously then it was like, oh, this is quite a niche podcast. I was kind of a little bit bored of listening to some of the other guys just ramble on about stuff, but I was starting to pick up golden nuggets every episode.
Mostly, if you had to break it down, what percentage of those nuggets would you say come from me, and what percentage comes from Fern?
Well, I was kind of like, who's that annoying guy? I'll turn him down a little bit. Like, there's Fern on. Now turn it back up. No, I'm only joking. In the interest of diplomacy, I'll say 50-50.
But you know what? Fern needs it. He knows I'm most people's favorite. So
you're the L4,
I am the.
I don't know if you've mentioned that.
No, that's probably something most listeners were unaware of. So I appreciate you throwing that out.
Yeah.
So you get some nuggets. Were there anything that we had said prior to you becoming a part of Affiliate University that you implemented or changed or worked through?
There was things like the referral program and the committed club that you just touched on in some episodes that I thought was a great idea and sort of started dabbling with a little bit. And I actually brought the committed club in 2 weeks before we went into lockdown for 4 months. So we had to kind of relaunch that again. But yeah, there was just, little tidbits here and there. That was like, it could be a coaching cue or, well, I think probably one of the biggest ones was just, doing things well first time round and investing, down to sort of scarcity mindset. Kind of if you invest in it, it'll, pay you back 10 times, sort of thing. So that was a big thing for me then when it comes to actually taking the leap to sign up.
Awesome. So, in the United States, I definitely think there's a balance of abundance. Like, we want this abundance mentality, like a rising tide lifts all ships, but then also considering the box down the road, there is some competition involved. And, we want people to look at us and join here. Is it a similar experience in Ireland? I think sometimes every box feels like no other box is dealing with the same drama or the same, problems. But, internationally, do you have the same experiences?
Well, yes and no. Sometimes it's hard not to take wee glances at, at the competition and see what they're doing. But I'm quite lucky. The guys that are our closest guys, I'd be really quite friendly with those guys. I've covered them on holidays, covered some of their classes and stuff, and they've looked after my place and stuff. So we have a really good relationship with those guys. But yeah, I mean, I think there can be that element of, kind of trying to look and see what those guys are doing and whatnot. But I've always tended to think I'll look after my own shop. And if my members don't want to stay with me, then that's on me. And nothing, if I'm providing them with a great experience, they're not going to want to leave no matter what. the guys down the road are doing, you know. So I think you know, it's been quite a good mindset to have, because it's kind of keeps me driven to keep providing that level of service for them. I think that was one of the things that really drew me to you guys, was it's not all about marketing. How can we get new members through the door? It's first and foremost looking after the members you've got. And that's kind of something I've always, like, I've never been one for pushing, like, you know, social media adverts or anything. It's kind of like, how can I provide the members I've got with a better experience? And then, you know, as you talk about, it turns them into raving fans, and word of mouth is your best, you know, advert. So yeah, so it really aligned with what you guys kind of preach, is what really drew me to you guys compared to other similar, you know, mentorship programs.
Yeah, and for the record, you know, we think some of those other programs are great, and any box, if you own a box, you need a coach, you know, whether it's us or whether it's someone else. But I really love hearing that. And I think the fact that when you reopened your doors, you had 40 new members coming in is an indication that you are doing those things well, right? It's your members telling their friends, hey, we're reopened. Hey, you know, you got to check this place out. And so many boxes, especially in the States, but it's similar everywhere. It's like, I'd have to do Facebook advertising and I need to do marketing. I'm like, cool. You know, and Fern and I have spoken about this at length, where all you're doing is replacing the people that are leaving.
Yeah.
How about so many boxes out there, they don't need new members. They need to retain the ones they have. They need to get the rates up to an appropriate level. They need to have some premium services so the average revenue per member is slightly higher. And then they need to just keep those people. And it looks like 80 to 100. I mean, in the States, if you have 100 people and you're doing a good job, you're crushing it. So what are some of the things that you think you were doing well prior to Affiliate U as far as creating that? And what are some things that we helped with to boost it, to make it even better?
So I think things like constantly reinvesting in new equipment. So like the guys in the gym, you know, they notice that, you know, it's not just they pay me, all the money goes to me, nothing comes back into the gym. So they were always saying, you know, I was never afraid to reinvest in new machines, new equipment, etc. And, you know, just doing lots of social events and stuff that always went down pretty well. But I think things like running, as I say, I touched on the committed club just before we went into lockdown, but really launching that properly. Referral programs, ambassador programs. But the biggest one probably was bringing it in was the onboarding. I was making a huge mistake with the onboarding, you know, as you know, trying to.
What mistake were you making?
Well, I was just trying to teach everyone every movement, you know, and it was something that resonated. Was, I think it was Fern had said, you know, you've still got that member who's been there for 5 years. What's a thruster? You know, and that happens all the time, you know. And I kind of like, well, that's true. We have members like that. How am I expecting those guys? So after we came out of lockdown one, we had quite a lot of new members join. I'm probably around the 80% retention of those new members. But out of these 40 new members that we've got over the last 5 weeks, we have still got all 40 of them, you know.
It's crazy.
Yeah, so it's
awesome.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, they've all really bought in. You know, I love when you see the new members 3 weeks in, walking in their new Metcons or their new Nanos. You know, it's like, we've got them. they're part of the cult now. Yeah.
That's
so
really
buzzing.
awesome. And yeah, I think oftentimes boxes think like, no one else has a member like this, or no one else has a member like that. And I don't know in Ireland if you're familiar with the original reality show called The Real World.
No.
You have it there? No, you never heard of it? So I'll give, the listeners here understand, but the original reality show, it kicked off with like, what happens when 7 strangers get picked to live in a house? And, you'd watch the first season and then the second, and then you realize, wait, those 7 strangers are always the same. There's always like the angry dude, there's always the dramatic person, they always fit the same kind of criteria, obviously, because it makes for good or at least entertaining television. But it's the same thing at the boxes, right? We got the person that's been there for 5 years. It's like, what's a thruster? We got the rep shaver. We got the person that comes in decked out, like you said, weight belt, knee sleeves, Metcons, headband, etc. We got the guy that goes to every competition, the person that wants to always go RX plus. So it's important to remember, like whether it's in, Arkansas or Ireland, we see the same members. It's how we deal with them, how we approach them. Something you mentioned, though, I don't want to forget, you mentioned social events. All I imagine are like keg stands and funneling and all sorts of stuff, Guinness. What's a social event like in Ireland?
It's probably not that similar. There's leprechauns, there's no. Well, we do a thing every year. It's everyone's favorite event. Every year, from when they moved the Open to the back end of the year, we replaced that with tri-board. So we had 8 weeks competition every Friday night. Really good fun. And on the 8th week, we finished with the tri-board party, and it was beer pong, different sort of games, drinking games. But yeah, we always got a great buy-in, maybe 60, 70, 80 members turning out into to the gym for that. And that's just one. And we do we do throwdowns, in-house throwdowns twice a year, with usually a bit of a party after that. But no, I mean, it's probably no wilder than anywhere else, despite the stereotypes getting thrown out here.
But what's the go-to beer? What's the go-to beer for the box?
I would love to say Guinness, but Guinness is nice from a tap, not necessarily from a tin or a bottle. So it could be some form of lager, Heineken, pretty popular, or craft beers is the thing now. Brewdog, Rob Lawson's been pushing that one.
That's what I noticed about you, Sam. I know we're joking around, but you are oftentimes, you and the staff, sipping a beer. It's 10 o'clock at night in Ireland a lot, and you have the specific glass for the specific type of beer. You're a beer connoisseur.
They're probably just. I've got several lager glasses that it's just pretty common in Ireland. You go to the bar to steal one of the pint glasses.
Gotcha.
So everyone's kitchen cupboard is filled with different branded beer glasses. So yeah, it could be one of many. Normally it's Guinness would probably be.
I don't want the listeners thinking we need to have an intervention here. I joke around because you're in Ireland, but yeah. So tell me about this. We've had quite a few calls with your coaching staff, like we've talked about. Be honest, be brutally honest with me. Give me the feedback. We get off our first call. I meet Jamie, I meet Phil and the crew. What were their thoughts about me? What were their thoughts about the call?
Well, first of all, they asked me, is that a giant mug he holds in his hands? Or is it a normal size mug? It's just they're small. That was legit first question.
It is one. This is my favorite mug. A, it was a wedding gift. We got a Mr. and Mrs. Macro. But B, it's big. It's like normal coffee mugs. Like, who drinks 6 or 8 ounces of coffee? Yeah. I need a venti. I need 20 ounces.
Well, there you go, guys. There's the answer for you. It's a big mug.
It's a big mug, and I'm a small person, so it looks a little better.
I think the first thing they noticed was just your eye for detail. They were like, "Oh my goodness, he knows everything." they were kind of blown away with that. I think they were surprised that, like, no matter what problem they brought up or issue that they maybe had or they have with coaching, that you were able to come back with a pretty solid answer. With no preparation. It was kind of like, for them, they realized, he's got a lot of experience, and so I think it was that. And then when we had the coaching videos, just the level of detail, the saying and correcting portions we were looking through.
I'm really happy to hear that. And if I don't have an answer, I just make one up, which is probably what it was. But I think a lot of it, it is there. It's experience where, and Fern has it as well. Despite me being a level 4 and he only being a level 3, he still has quite a lot of experience. And and I'm sure, I always remind people of this. Like, there's something in your life that you have that experience and expertise in. Maybe it's cooking. Maybe it's dog training. It could be any number of things. Ours just happen to be in coaching. And, yes, we try to be specific. We try to give tangible advice. We try to give, things that you can implement immediately. But at the end of the day, what it comes down to? Just keep this shit fun and give everybody the best hour of their day. And I think oftentimes, I can't think of a specific question or comment from, Phil or Jamie or anybody. But I think, we often want, newer coaches especially, want to overthink and want to complicate things. Like, but you don't get it. Like, this person, that. No, I get it. Who cares? Or I get it. Like, let them do that. If somebody really wants to go RX today and they're going to blow the stimulus, it's their hour, right? If they're staying safe, they're not impacting the rest of the class. And again, that's not the goal every day. But we don't call this company best hour of their day because we expect it to be the second or third best hour of their day. We want it to be the best hour of their day. And I think as your coaches, just, they exemplify what that means, because so many coaches, especially the part-timers, they do this because, it's either a free membership or they feel cool because they're a coach and their buddies aren't. It's hard to develop that motivation within a coaching staff to want to be better, to be on a phone call. Like, I would question the listeners. If you're a coach or you're a box owner, would your coaching staff hop on at 10 o'clock at night with me, week after week? Would you as a coach do that? I don't know, right? I'd say, no, I want to go to bed, right? It's 10 o'clock. I got a baby that's going to get up in the middle of the night. But your coaches just continue to do that. What for you would you say, prior to the coaching development aspect, which is something we offer in Affiliate University, what would you say for you was a weakness of yours that has improved over time?
And in terms of the coaching development?
Yes.
Not talking so much. I think going back to getting the old school whiteboard and getting back to whiteboard briefs. We went TV for a little while, which just didn't have the same effect. But having the whiteboard briefs, and then probably my biggest weakness is over talking when I'm demoing, and that's something that I've really been conscious of since getting back in. I was conscious for a little while after I'd done my level 2, and then slipped back into those old habits. But it's something now that I feel like I do pretty well now, of giving verbal demonstration, like a verbal and then a visual demonstration without speaking, and that's probably my biggest thing.
What's one way you give yourself an evaluation or feedback on
that? Well, I know when I'm talking and demoing at the same time, because it clicks to me now, I shouldn't be talking. Shut up, Sam. But I suppose my only real feedback is when the other coaches are in class to give me that feedback. We are implementing. We wanted to leave it a month or so, but starting to implement the coach evaluations, so that we can get more formal feedback, more formal evaluations where there's somebody specifically looking for certain things. So we can provide a better service. But yeah, first 5 weeks back in after 4 months, we just wanted it to be fun, find our feet again, get back to coaching, enjoying it, and then we can start to, you know, hone those and develop those skills again a little bit more.
You know, and that's a really important skill that you mentioned, though, the ability to realize when you're doing something wrong or that you shouldn't. You know, we call it conscious incompetence, meaning I'm aware that I'm doing something wrong. And that's really the first, like they say, it's like the first step is admitting you have a problem. You know, this is often the first step too. Like, okay, now that I know I have the problem, let me be aware when I make that mistake, because or else you can't stop. So that's really good. And I'm sure you've come to the realization that no matter how much you think about it, you still do it, as do I. But at least when you're aware of it, it clicks to you, and then you probably avoid that in the subsequent classes that you're coaching.
Yeah.
How about for your coaching staff? What's one area for them that you've really noticed an improvement?
Definitely they're saying and correcting is they now, you know, they take the time, things like calling reps, knowing what to look for. Yeah, they're getting so much more. They're coming out buzzing because, you know, they're able to fix more, cue more, fix more. And then when they get a win, you know, if someone's maybe unable to get a good front rack on a clean, or good receiving position, a few you know, cues, and they get it, and maybe you know, been bashing their head against the wall for a couple of weeks, but then they have that breakthrough moment, and then they're excited again. And you know, now that they definitely haven't spoken to them about it, they feel so much more equipped to deal with these situations and more equipped to see the faults. So it's definitely a huge improvement across the board watching them, you know, and getting some great feedback off the members as well, you know. So it's been really, really good, really beneficial for them.
You mentioned feedback from your members. Are your members noticing and appreciating their improved coaching?
Yeah, 100%, tenfold. You know, I've had comments, you know, like, you know, I had a great class with Jason last night, or whoever it was. Just, you know, getting that different cue. Maybe I'm not, you know, I've got my wee backlog of cues, and maybe something he said just resonated with them, and they've had, you know, as a member, they've struggled with the movement, and they've had that wee breakthrough moment. And yeah, you know, it just is a really good vibe. The guys can see, our members can see the hard work that they're putting in as well. And I think it's just sort of taking that coaching to the next level.
And as the owner, are you seeing it from a day-to-day perspective? You know, this is especially the seeing part. We often say, you know, most coaches have decent presence and attitude. You don't get involved in this career path if you don't enjoy being around people, like people, etc. But are you seeing, I guess I should rephrase that, when you say they're getting better, especially in their seeing, as the owner, what are you seeing to notice the improvement in theirs?
Well, I think it's how they set up their not the room as such, but how they work through their progressions. You know, we go through our specific warm-ups and things like they now call the reps, and they're now confident of what they're looking for. They're looking for one thing, and I can see that they're looking for one thing, and then they're dealing with that fault, and they're putting blinkers on to other things that they're not wanting to see yet, you know, and they're fixing that. And you know, there's times they miss things, you know, like that's to be expected, but they're seeing more and more, and the more they see, the more the confidence they are to give those cues. And you know, yeah, you can just see their confidence and their coaching come out a lot more. Like, it's great. That is really, really good to see. And I think they're just setting themselves up now to see those things, and you can see how they're doing that.
And it's really just awesome to notice coaches developing that confidence.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what it comes down to, being on these calls and getting questions answered and getting that feedback is helping them develop that confidence. And that's really awesome. What are the future plans for the box, for you, for the coaching staff?
For me, I'm currently the stopwatch is running down on level 3, so I'll have to get it sorted, booked, and tackled. And as for the guys, one of the coaches, he's down for his level 2. He's kind of super inspired by it all at the minute. So he wants to develop further. And in terms of the box, we are hopefully expanding in the not so distant future, where we can double up our size. And just a few things in the pipeline. CrossFit Kids, we kind of have been planning on implementing, but just due to the pandemic and how busy we've been, we've just kind of put that in the back burner a little bit. But just continue to grow. Like I've said, it kind of set the challenge to our coaches that we want to be known as the box of the best coaching. Simple, set our sights high, not worry about what anyone else is doing, and just coach people, give them a really good fun hour. At the same time, not bog them down with constant cueing, but like coach them, make it enjoyable, make it fun. If they learn one thing or they get better at 1%, or they're 1% better at something, then that's the win for today. And they go home feeling happy, having a good workout.
Yeah, I love it. And I think that's a great mentality. Like whether it's 1% better, or I always think I want everybody leaving with one nugget, kind of like you talked about with the podcast. If you invest an hour and you get one really great thing in that hour, amongst many other things, the fitness, the community, the endorphins, or you're listening to this show and you get one thing, like you mentioned, the referral program, or anything else, that's a big win. I listen to podcasts as well, and if I get one thing, that's great. Talk to me about this level 3, Sam. When are you going to sign up?
I actually was, I have to go and find my emails to see how I booked the exam. I don't even know where I have to go for the exam in Northern Ireland. But I booked it at the back end of last year. So you've got 1 year to sit the exam. And then I signed up with you guys, and I've kind of not really thought about it for a little while. But I'm just buzzing to get it, to tackle it. It's pretty much all I do is read, try and learn about CrossFit and coaching, and pretty immersed in it. So I'm hoping that'll carry me through. But I listened to one of your podcasts with Chuck Carswell, which says one of the most difficult things you'll do. And it was about 2 days after I'd signed up, and I was like, no way. But I'm excited to keep developing.
Chuck has been hitting the head way more than most people. So, it might have been a struggle for him, but I think you'll be just fine. So I have no doubt that a secondary benefit of all of Affiliate University, but specifically the coaches development portion, is that you're going to show up at your level 3 and probably be far more prepared than you realize or would have been without it. Because, even just the idea that you're trying to develop and you're reading things and you're, watching our videos and getting the feedback, that's all stuff that's going to make you, that's going to prepare you very well for it. Denise Thomas was in our coaches development group, and someone asked her, why do people fail the level 3? And, she said it's because they stop doing CrossFit. They think this weightlifting program or this nutrition protocol is better, when CrossFit lays it out for you. And if you do fitness in 100 words, and you eat meats, vegetables, nuts, seeds, and you do couplets and triplets, you're going to be fine. And I have no doubt you're going to be just fine in that level 3. So I'm really excited to hear about that when you sign up.
I'll get it booked.
So you're in Ireland. Fern and I want to plan season 2 of dropping in. All the original episodes are available on YouTube, but maybe we check out Ireland and explore a little bit. I don't know that Fern would come back. Fern might he'll either get arrested or, he's just going to party too much. He might just fall in love with the Irish community. I can see Fern sticking around there, but
we'll welcome him. We'll welcome him in. Yeah. We'll take you a good chair around all the pubs.
I have no doubt about that. Well, Sam, anything else? You're on the show. Big deal for you. Big deal for the box. Anything else you wanted to add before we wrap up?
No, just personally to thank you guys for, the support and the knowledge bombs. It's been great. Such a good vibe in the gym. I think the members can see we're going the extra mile to make it even better for them. And they're all pretty appreciative of it. So, I just highly recommend it to anyone thinking about, I don't know, on the fence, do it. It's definitely worth it. If anything, for the crack's good.
Well, we appreciate it, Sam. And, the feeling is mutual. I remember hopping on that first call with you, during the closure in Ireland, and just thinking to myself, this guy's going to really make a positive change at his box. I can tell you were motivated. I can tell you were doing things for the right reason, and my intuition was not off. And then when I got to know your coaching staff, it only reassured me of everything I thought. You have a really tremendous coaching staff, and I think it's important for you to recognize. We talked about conscious incompetence. Realizing what you're doing well. There's also this idea of unconscious competence, unaware of what you're doing right. And, it's important as the box owner that you recognize the things you are doing right, so you can do them, repeatedly. We are what we repeatedly do. And, excellence, comes from that. So I think that's really great. And it's immediately noticeable when you talk to your staff. So congrats on that. Congrats on the 40 new members. And I want to be the first to congratulate you in advance on passing your level 3, because I know once you sign up for that, you will.
Thank you.
Thanks again for coming on, Sam. It's been a pleasure. I'll let you go. It's late in the evening in Ireland, but I look forward to our next chat with the group and to continued success at Moira.
No problem. Thank you. Cheers.
So you never miss an episode of the podcast, subscribe to our YouTube channel and on all major podcasting platforms at Best Hour of Their Day. Thank you so much for tuning in and for being a part of the best hour of our day. See you next time.
You've heard me talk about it before, and I'm truly not joking. I'm being 100% genuine. I love Doc Spartan products. I use it every day. I talk about the Sex Panther Beard Balm. That's literally what is in my beard right now. And I use all of the scrubs, my favorite being the coffee scrub, just in the shower, gives you the tingles, gives you the feels. I love it. And there's so many other great products. I use their deodorant. I've used their hand care when I've had tears. Just check them out. It's veteran owned, guy that was in the military serving our country, Dale. I got to know him over the years, and he's just a great dude. And I started buying his products, and he reached out to me and said, hey, we want to support the show, and we appreciate it. And I just want you guys to not only support Doc Spartan and Dale, but also reap the benefits. If you want to be sexy like me, then you want to check out Doc Spartan products. 15% off with the code BESTHOUR. That's Best Hour for 15% off anything at their website, DocSpartan.com. Check out the coffee scrub and definitely check out the beard balm. And ladies, there's stuff for you too. So head on over to DocSpartan.com, use the code BESTHOUR and save 15%.
You started your business to help others. Somewhere along the way, you lost the capability of doing it on your own. Imagine how much different your business would be with an extra $10,000. Would you pay your rent? Would you buy new equipment? Would you pay your coaches more? Would you pay yourself? What if you could do that and donate to others? We started our business to help you. Finally, a payment solution for the micro gym space. we are proud to introduce you to WillPay, a platform that allows you to both save money and be generous. With giving partners like the Phoenix, the Navy SEAL Foundation, the Green Beret Project, and other charitable organizations, you can trust that your donations will make a massive difference in the lives of others. Saving has never been easier. Giving has never been easier. Pay better. Do better. WillPay.